Brazil's far-right presidential frontrunner Jair Bolsonaro has been released from intensive care. The candidate had surgery to remove an intestinal blockage Wednesday, a procedure due to complications from a stab wound he suffered while on the campaign trail. The election in Brazil is coming up next month, and to talk a bit more about that with me now, I'm joined on the set by Latin American specialist Pascal Drouhaud. Hi, Pascal.
Thank you.
The candidate list for the election is closing today. This campaign has truly been unpredictable from start to finish, almost like a soap opera. Just first to set the stage, can you remind our viewers of perhaps the most dramatic moments of this campaign so far?
Yes, as you said, this campaign is very uncertain. The result will be absolutely uncertain. And we had a huge moment as the attack against the candidate of the PSL, Mr. Bolsonaro, but also the impossibility for former President Lula to be candidate. For example, there have been strong moment during this campaign, a campaign where we could see the candidates talking about the fight against corruption, because as you know, Brazil has entered inside a strong investigation against corruption, Jato investigation, and this situation has been very strong for the political future in Brazil. But I must remain that Brazil is the first economy in Latin America, in the 9th GDP. Today, that's a great country, but for sure, the debate today is against the corruption. Some candidates, as the candidate Bolsonaro, are talking against the system, the classical system, but the first strong needed of the population is, of course, the work and the economic growth.
And would you say that's the reason that now the right-leaning candidate, Mr. Bolsonaro, is rising so much in the polls, is because of this corruption? Brazil has so traditionally been left-leaning, at least in recent years. Is that why this move to the right?
Yes, certainly. And as you said, again, those last years, Brazil has been, the president of Brazil were coming from the left side, President Lula, President Dilma Rousseff, and the results in this on this point of view, the fight against corruption has been a disaster. So for sure, if the left parties has been and have many difficulties on this side, of course, candidates who are making the campaign against the system are more listening today.
How much do you think the fact that Mr. Bolsonaro was unfortunately stabbed on the campaign trail, what kind of effect might that have on voters? I mean, he did give a Facebook Live from his hospital bed yesterday, very dramatic.
Yes, I think that this attack consolidates the vote for Mr. Bolsonaro, but we are talking about the first round. The first round will be the 7th of October. Don't forget that it will be a second round. And today we are saying that, showing that each candidate, but Mr. Haddad, the candidate of the party of the workers, left parties, will win against Mr. Bolsonaro. So we must be quiet. Brazil is a great democracy. Brazilian people knows what could be the best for their country. So let's confidence on Brazil.
Tell us a bit more about this Fernando Haddad, who was handpicked by the former President Lula, who, just to remind our viewers again, is in jail. It was decided that he cannot run again. He was the front runner up until this court decision came down. Can Fernando Haddad ever really replace Lula in the hearts and the minds of Brazilian voters?
Now, in the heart, I think it is difficult, because heart is very personal. Lula has had a history. He was president during many years, and he has his own links with the people. So to replace it is difficult. But I would like to know the program, in fact, the economic program, the social program for Brazil. Brazil is coming back a recession, very strong recession. 3 million works have been lost during those two last years. Brazil had a strong recession last 3 enough point during those last 2 years. So today, Brazil has to find the way of economic growth, of the works, and of course to use this position in Latin America, in international situation, but also in Latin America. Don't forget that, as I said, Brazil is the first economy in Latin America, and everyone is looking very carefully this election, because for sure the result will influence the future of the continent.
We were talking before about Mr. Bolsonaro. There's another outsider, if you like, who's not coming from the line of Lula, the Green candidate, a woman who was in Lula's government. Yes. You would think she might be a favorite, but she's actually running quite low in the polls. Why do you think that is?
Marina Silva, yes, is a great candidate. She has been presidential candidate twice. She has a 60, and for sure, it is an option. As other candidates, don't forget that during these presidential elections, 13 candidates have been declared, and strong, of course, and someone are very strong. I'm thinking, for example, in Gerardo Alckmin from Sao Paulo, Ciro Gomes, and for sure Enrique Mereyes, the candidate who has been supported by the current president, Temer, but also Temer has been suspicion of corruption. So coming back to the reality, corruption will influence definitely the result of the first round, and we will see for the second round what the people we need for the future of his own country.
Pascal, thank you so much for coming to speak to us. Pascal Drouhaud there, Latin American specialist. Thank you.